Hi, and welcome to episode 42 of the IT Provider Network. I'm Terry Rossi, and I wanted to share with you today some lessons I learned from a book that I'm reading called Your Oxygen Mask First. It's by Kevin Lawrence, and I'll put a link to the book in the show notes. Kevin's a Gazelles coach, and strangely enough, the book was actually given to me by my Gazelles coach who wanted me to read it. It's about self-preservation as a business owner. So it reminded me of one of my favorite Peter Gabriel songs. The song's called Kiss That Frog. And today I want to urge you all to start each day by kissing that frog. Although I'm pretty sure the advice I'm about to give you is a little bit different than Peter Gabriel's. So what I'm talking about is the dreaded task list. You know, all the things on your to-do list that never seem to get done, the stuff you push off every day because something's always more important and gets in the way. At least that's what you keep telling yourself, your coworkers, your clients, your employers. These are the frogs I want you to kiss. In our company, we actually have an accountability sheet. We call it the WWW sheet. WWW stands for who, what, and when, and it's the way we monitor tasks that we need to get done to move our company forward. By assigning a who and a when to each what, we make someone accountable to the task that we've assigned, and we assign a deadline to it. The problem is some of these who, what, whens never seem to get done. They get discussed each week during our huddle, and the due date gets pushed out further and further, but they don't get done. Since this is happening in our senior leadership team, the creme de la creme in our company, I'm pretty sure it's happening in other team meetings throughout the company, and that just sucks. Wasted time and agreed upon priorities are just not getting done. These hard to accomplish tasks, whether they're in your personal life, things like getting your hair cut or an oil change for your car, or things in your business life like giving a performance review or calling a client to own up to a mistake you made, these are the things I call frogs. I call them frogs because they're the things we don't even want to touch. We move away from them and we try to avoid them at all costs. So here's what I want you to do. Imagine for a minute that you really had to kiss a frog. Imagine that this was on your who, what, when list. You had to give it a big, wet, 3-second kiss. You'd probably put it off as humanly possible. You'd probably put it off as long as humanly possible. You'd schedule it out for a year in the future. If you had a year to do it, you'd probably do it on the last day of the year, day 365. It's human nature. We put off the things that we don't want to do to the last possible moment. Think about it. When you were finally forced to kiss that frog, you'd pucker it up and you'd give it a big, long, 3-second wet kiss right on the slimy skin of its back. But what would happen? You'd probably freak out a little bit, you'd spit, and you'd probably complain loudly, but it would be over in a minute, really in 3 seconds. 3 seconds that you spent 365 days agonizing over. A year of stress for something that took less than a minute. When it comes to things you don't want to do, agonizing over it is almost always worse than actually doing it. Once you kiss that frog, you're going to feel a little freer. You're going to have less weight on your shoulders, and you'll be free to move on to the next thing without the burden of kissing that frog hanging over your head. So how can you do it? Well, I can help you fix this problem, but you need to get a new notebook. And I bet you're like me, you probably have hundreds of frogs to kiss. You see, the way these things work is we constantly procrastinate on all our life's burdens, and they build up in our minds. We carry them around like heavy luggage every day. I know you don't think you have 100 open items on your internal to-do list, but I bet you do. I might even venture to bet that you have twice that many, and you're carrying all that weight around every day. These little things add up. They bring you down. So let me share with you some of the common ones that I see. I'll give you the top 10 lists. Number 1, working on personal relationships. This is one of the things that just kind of tends to always, get pushed to the back. Actually doing a date night with your spouse or significant other. Taking the time to spend the time with your loved ones. Saying no to someone when you know you should. Oftentimes we don't like to say no, so we either push it off or we say yes and end up doing something that's probably not right for them and definitely not right for us. Number 4, firing someone or terminating someone. Oftentimes I see that people just drag this out forever. They suffer the consequences of having someone that's not a great fit for their team still on their team. Number 5, tolerating a consistently late employee or someone that just consistently continues to do something that's not right and makes you upset. We tolerate that. We tend to put that off. Number 6 is pretty simple, just making a doctor's appointment. A lot of people don't go to the doctor. They just procrastinate and procrastinate and procrastinate, and they let things fester, whether that's a tooth problem or a cough that hasn't gone away, whatever it is, procrastinating to go to the doctors. Number 7, ending a joint venture or a partnership that's been over for quite some time. We all have these too, whether it's your business partner, and I hope it's not your business partner, or a vendor relationship that's gone south, or someone you're cooperating with that doesn't seem to be living up to their end of the deal. We tend to want to put that kind of stuff off and not deal with it. Doing employee reviews or one-on-one coaching. So for me, this is personally one of my big things that I just don't like doing. Employee reviews and one-on-one coaching. I'm trying to get better at it, but it's a struggle for me to do that. Number 9, dealing with unresolved conflicts of any type, whether they're at home or at work. We all have these unresolved conflicts that we know we should deal with, and chances are if we deal with them, it's not going to be a big deal, but we tend to put them off and let them fester. And lastly, I have on my list number 10, making a will or updating your life insurance. This is one of those things that I've seen people put off until, unfortunately, it's too late and they can't do anything about it. So make sure you make that a priority. And I'm guessing at least some of these frogs or these things that you're procrastinating on are going to resonate with you. If you think about it, I'm guessing that you've been making a plan to make a plan to make a plan to get it done for quite a long time. So here's some ways you can get things done. 5 things you need to know about kissing your frogs. First is you need to find your frogs. Many people smarter than me have told you that if you want something to happen, you really need to write it down. The same is true if you want to kiss these frogs. You need to figure out what you've been avoiding and write it down. Writing it down frees them from your head. It gets them out of your mind and onto the paper. If you know you have to do it and it makes you even a little uncomfortable, write it down, get it on the paper, and free it from your mind. That's thing number 1. Thing number 2, kiss your frogs daily. Make it a habit to start kissing those frogs, knocking these things off your list every day. Make it a habit. They say it takes 21 days to form a habit, so set your mind right that you're going to do this for 21 days straight. But to start, let's just focus on the first 5 days. Let's start with the first work week. Only kiss 1 frog a day. Knock one thing off your list one at a time for 5 days. Pick 5 things, large or small, big or little, doesn't matter, but pick 5 things that you've been avoiding and start trying to knock them out today. Remember, this beginning stage is about building momentum. It's about getting rid of some of your backlog and feeling good about crossing off some of those open items that you've been ignoring. I'm going to teach you something called the 5 Ds. I don't know if you've ever heard of the 5 Ds, but I Googled it and I found out it was actually defined as a term used to describe a wholehearted effort to avoid someone or something. Interestingly enough, it comes from dodgeball. The 5 Ds are dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. Don't ask me why dodge is listed twice. I don't know. I really don't care. The 5 Ds of frog kissing are a little bit different. If you want to get something done that you've been wholeheartedly trying to avoid, then you need to do one of these 5 Ds that I'm going to lay out for you. The first one, do it. Just like Nike, your first choice is to deal with the frog and just do it. Kiss it, get it over with, knock the task off your list, suck it up and do it. Number 2, don't do it. Just like Nancy Reagan said, just say no. Tell the person or persons no. You won't be doing whatever they asked of you. You made a decision. You're sorry you can't help, but I can't do it. Just say no. That's thing number 2. Thing number 3, delegate it. Push it off to someone else. I'm getting better and better at this every year. It took me quite a long time to get good at it, but delegating is now a big part of how I get things done. So number 3, delegate it. Do it, don't do it, or delegate it. That's the first 3. Number 4, delete it. Delete it is similar to don't do it, but it's just a choice you need to make. Just decide that you aren't going to do something. Strike it from your list. Make room in your brain for more important stuff. The key is that you really need to truly delete it and move on. Wipe it from your mind. So do it, don't do it, delegate it, or delete it. That's the top 4. And the 5th one is the least favorite one, but it's one you need too. It's called date it. This is the last of the 5 Ds. If you choose to push something off and date it for some time in the future, you can use the date it method. But be careful with this one. It can really become a big crutch. Use the date it method only if timing is truly not right and something needs to be moved out to the future. This can be a valid reason to push something out, but make sure it's a valid reason. Make sure you're not just procrastinating and ignoring it. So I'll give you some more advice. Do the worst thing first. Do yourself a favor and kiss the nastiest frog first thing in the morning. Maybe it's not possible to do it before your morning coffee, but do it as soon as you possibly can. Why, you might ask? Well, because it's going to liberate you. It'll be off your back. You can spend your day growing your business, not worrying about something you're going to have to deal with anyway. Just do it, or pick one of the other 5 D's to do something and do something. Do it first thing in the morning. Do it, don't do it, delegate it, delete it, or date it. Just do it first. And lastly, I would encourage you to think about sharing this concept with your team. Make Friday Frog Day in your company. Fridays become the day where procrastination is no longer an excuse. Sort your tickets by age, knock out the oldest ones first, look at your rocks or your WWW sheet and knock off the oldest tasks that have been there staring you in the face for days and weeks and months. Make those hard calls to your customers. Have those one-on-ones with your employees. Move your company along and kiss some frogs. So that's it for today in episode 42 of the IT Provider Network. As always, I thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great day, and I hope 2019 is off to a great start. We're going to get back in the regular swing of things, producing podcasts here for you. I hope that I'm bringing value to you and your company. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach me at terry@itprovidernetwork.com. Thanks and have a great day. Remember, we are IT.